Alright, so I just did my mail call, my second mail call, not too long ago, but I was actually out here watching a video on Netflix, and it got me thinking. Um, it's about actually a documentary on like the whole amateur porn business that's out there, and it kind of, they're interviewing these girls, and the main feature that I noticed was that, all the girls are like, I love the money, I love the stuff being about me, I love the stuff. And it just kind of got me thinking, even though, I could talk about that whole thing all on its own, but the main thing I really want to get to is that, we really need to be happy with the things that we don't have. Now, I don't make a whole bunch of money. I'm in grad school, I'm a master's student. I'm able to live, I'm able to have a little bit of a hobby. My wife gets her spending money as well. We give each other allowances. But, I don't make a whole bunch of money. Am I generally happy? I am. There are ups and there's downs. And it kind of, here, hold on, let me sneeze. Allergies, even though I did take an allergy pill this morning. Anyway, I've never really been a big materialistic person. Like, things don't make me happy. There are certain things I do that make me happy. I enjoy smoking a cigar. I enjoy spending time with my family. Those things make me happy. I love going to church. It makes me happy. And those things make me happy. But the summit of everything that should make us happy is God. Because He is pure love. If we focus on that. Look at the great saints. The greatest of the saints out there, and I'm gonna pull a few of them out there because my favorite, Saint Francis of Assisi. He had, for his time, he was his father was like a textile merchant. So there really was no middle class back then, but you could probably classify them as very high middle class. From what I've read about it. But he noticed, the material, he didn't have a want in the world when it comes to material things, but he gave it all up to serve the poor, And that right there just shows, and he had such a immense zeal about him. He had such an immense, he was in awe of God 24 hours a day. He barely slept because he would stay up praying to God, praising Him constantly, But in this day and age, people covet things. They think that will make them happy. And for a short time, they probably will. But after a while, they lose their flavor, so they have to get more, and then more, and more. It's just like a drug. It's like an addiction. And in this day and age, I really feel that we are being pushed that the more we have, the happier we'll be. And that could probably be the case for many years, but it just seems very prominently now. We're told, oh, family won't make you happy. You have to go get this car, or go. You have to have this job to make you happy. And it's a lie. It's a black hole that people fall in that they can never get out of. If they keep in that mindset, but if they realize what life is truly about, true happiness will come through. And the other saint I'll talk about, who has such a love for God and His people, is actually a very newly declared saint as of, I'm going to feel like an idiot. I think last year he was declared, but Saint Pope John Paul II. He had such tragedy in his life. His older brother died when he was young. His mother died when he was very young. His father died, who was the last person he had, back when the communists, after World War II, took over Poland. And he had such tragedy. Many people in his place would have probably given into despair, and they probably just would have sunk into a hole. He did the exact opposite. He embraced life, he embraced love, and if you actually looked at his entire papacy, his entire priesthood, his entire life, he had such joy and love for everybody. It didn't matter who you were, what religion you were, what color you were, what political viewpoint you had. I mean, he truly loved, he even loved the person who shot him. They became friends. He forgave him. And a lot of people are like, oh, the Pope, supposed to forgive the person that he, shot, but he visited him multiple times. This wasn't like a one-time photo op. Oh, here, I'm forgiving my, my attacker. He conversed with them multiple times. I think that really speaks true for, how we should be. We really shouldn't be this very self-absorbed type of person. And I'm not perfect. There are times, where I could be selfish, and I think all of us can be to a point. It just went out. But I just think the point I'm just trying to make is, don't fall into the habit of thinking that other people will make us happy or other things will make us happy. We have to remember the one true, not thing, but the one true person that will truly make us happy is God. Because in Him we find the summit of everything. Everything good comes from Him. So if we focus our lives and our minds to Him, we will always be joyful and happy. And it just, I don't know. I don't think there's really a huge point to my ramble here. I just felt like I really needed to say that. But it saddens me when I see people like that, because it just, there's so much more to life. And I feel that, too many of us squander it, on trying to find the happiness in our life. A lot of us, try to chase that happiness instead of just, instead of experiencing our life. They're always looking for that next thing instead of going through their life. And, I've had my ups and I've had my downs. I've fought with, depression for a little bit. I mean, not like clinical, like down in the dumps depression, but, I tend to get really stressed out, especially because of school. School's very, very stressful. Anybody who's ever been in school realizes that. Especially, undergraduate or graduate school. It can be a very stressful time. And, you feel like you can do your best, but depending on who your boss is, it's just never enough. But that's a whole other subject matter. But, the one thing is figure out what your vocation for life is. Like, I know, at least partly, my vocation in life is to be a husband and to be a father. I found that out when I was actually discerning a call to the religious life, that this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman was shoved into my life, unbeknownst to me. I was kind of just, looking to see what was out there, and here this bright, shining star fell from the sky into my lap. And I married her a year later, and we'll be celebrating our 6th wedding anniversary this upcoming September, and we've been together for almost 7 years. But, I am so grateful that she entered my life, because, I don't think I would have been unhappy within religious life. I just don't think I would be as fulfilled without having a family. And I'm not poo-pooing religious life at all. I think it's great for the people who have that vocation. It just wasn't mine. And if everybody can see my wife's hand dipping in the video there, she's probably listening to me. I don't know if you see her hand right there. See my kitty cat? Say hi, Chewy. Hey. There he is. That's my little monster. Yep. That was actually my first gift my wife ever gave me. His name's Chewy, after Chewbacca from Star Wars. If everybody's a nerd, just like me. But he's a little bud. He's almost 7 years old. But anyway. But, that's all I pretty much wanted to say. So, but yeah, focus on God. If we have Him as a center of life, every good thing else will flow from that. And we have to remember that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's kind of what I was thinking about. So God bless everybody, right?